Welcome! Our top stories we'll brainwash you with tonight. The FDA approves the Pfizer shot, and Vax passports are coming to an area near you. Take it, or you'll be fired and banned from society. It'll be great! Oh, should I just jump right into it? Thought we were doing some kind of intro. The FDA has now approved the Pfizer shot. This comes after it was already being used for 9 months, which seems normal. And now, luckily, all hesitant people will go get this thing, knowing that a government agency, the FDA, has verified that it's safe to trust the government's relentless coercion to get people to do so. However, and not surprisingly, some far-right extremists who have replaced their critical race theory training with critical thinking training are still not convinced, believing there could somehow be a level of political or monetary corruption involved in the FDA's approval process. Well, not likely, because what these idiots don't know is that former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb is now on Pfizer's board of directors, probably hired away from the FDA to ensure there's no corruption. I'd imagine this is a remarkable level of protection in place to ensure the safety of the people that the company wants to make billions of dollars off of. Game, set, match, skeptics. Because after all, we are in the middle of a global pandemic. Right, Jen Pisecki?
And our efforts to address the global pandemic.
Wait a minute. Play that again.
To address the global pandemic.
Did she just say what I think she said?
Did she just say pandemic? She said pandemic.
Huh. I wonder why Jen would say that. Well, with an in-depth exclusive as to why Jen would say that, let's throw it over to our correspondent with a special report.
Well, sometimes old Jen accidentally tells the truth. Back to you, JP.
Well, I'm sure she didn't mean to. Thanks, Mickey. In celebrating the FDA's approval of Pfizer's product, we went into the archives today. And it turns out in 2009, Pfizer had to pay the largest criminal fine in US history. For anything. The criminal organization had to pay a criminal fine of $1.195 billion. They had to pay a total fine of $2.3 billion, which was inclusive of both civil and criminal charges. Now, if you're worried that Pfizer might have committed just one criminal act, you can put your concerns to rest. Because Pfizer admitted that between 1997 and 2006, it paid more than $2 million in bribes to government officials in Bulgaria, Croatia, Kazakhstan, and Russia. It had to pay a $15 million fine for this, amongst its other infractions. Luckily, the public doesn't have to worry about Pfizer having to pay any more fines, as the company has no liability if the public is harmed in any way from its new product that was brought to market in record speed. In other news, approximately 10 million people abuse FDA-approved opioids every year, with the approved drug being involved in at least 70% of overdose deaths. Now, just a few more things before we wrap up tonight's broadcast, so I can dig into my bowl full of FDA-approved hydrogenated oils and trans fats that I'll be having for dinner. The mayor of New York City has mandated that most black people won't be able to eat in restaurants anymore. This exciting act of unification comes as Mayor de Blasio has instituted vaccine passports. And considering 65% of black people in New York City have not been injected with things that they've chosen to not be injected with, expect New York City to start looking like the 1950s again real quick. Seems like the far left's very genuine, all-inclusive virtue signaling is successful once again. And the passport concept is spreading around real quick to help protect people from freedom. As the passports are creating two classes of citizens, you can rest assured that anytime throughout history there's been two classes of citizens created, things have turned out horrifically well. But that's all ancient history. We're doing it again in the present, so it seems different, doesn't it? However, there is strong opposition to the freedom-restricting passports, with many pointing out you can still be for getting the shot if you'd like it, but be against mandates and passports. In response to this, the authoritarians were overheard saying, "I wish they didn't realize that." You mean we can exist with a shot without surrendering our freedoms? That doesn't make any sense. It is worth noting, though, that extremist citizens who want freedom for themselves and their country are rising up against the passport system and winning. For instance, Moscow implemented the passport system and then banned it after 3 weeks. Why? Because citizens rose up and decided to boycott any business that required a passport, which got Moscow to reverse their decision. Israel implemented the passport system and then banned it because it simply wasn't working and it was dividing their citizens. And Denmark has announced it is banning all passport measures. So in spite of what we tell you on the news, you can make a difference with how you vote with your money. But in reality, if you like freedom, what you need to understand is you need to comply your way into regaining your freedoms. At least that's what the people who have taken our freedoms are telling us. And it's probably a good idea to trust them, based on the billions of dollars they spend to try to get our trust. If you would just go along with the restrictions of living with a passport system, then that's probably the final thing they'll demand from us, right? That's probably the last thing. Why wouldn't it be? This just in! Microchips are coming to your arm near you. Take a look.
And this is sort of cool. Scientists at the Pentagon are developing a microchip that can detect viruses in the blood, including COVID-19. The chip would be inserted just under the skin and alert the user if the coronavirus is present.
Well, that would be a cool step. And then just imagine if we could get the virus monitoring microchips mandated. After all, it'd probably be more effective than the passport system, and that's already mandated, so it's just one more little inch. And then just one more little inch, so it doesn't just tell your phone when you're sick, it tells the centralized authorities when you're sick. It's just one more little inch. Who cares? And then when they tell you you're sick, we could just go one more little step and have them come and take you out of your home to protect you. And when they tell you your children are sick, they could come and take your children away from you, just like they did in Australia. Watch. It's cool how they had to tackle the dad so they could take his child away from him. Well, luckily in Australia, where they have their citizens locked in their homes and they face jail time and heavy fines if they leave, they're also now building health quarantine camps to help protect everyone from a disease that carries a 99.98% survival rate. Do you remember what the Nazis called their concentration camps while they were being built? So for everyone's sake, hopefully you'll just do what's right and obediently welcome the new passports, because they're taking us in a beautiful direction. But still, for the skeptics, many of them are getting fired from their jobs as their employers succumb to the pressure of instituting jab mandates that's put on them from the White House. Well, I say if they don't like it, then they shouldn't be able to work there. Because after all, there's still plenty of places for them to work that don't require them to get the shot. Like the White House. In concluding tonight's story of health passports, people are being divided into us and them. They're being forced to identify themselves, and people are now facing systematic discrimination. These happen to be the first 3 stages of genocide, but I'm sure if we keep walking in the same direction, we'll get somewhere good, right? As long as we don't think about it. Good night! Do you know why trees are so big and strong and why they live so long? It's because they don't have out of balance blood sugar. Maybe. Which brings up the fact that I'd like to thank today's sponsor of the video, Blood Sugar Breakthrough, made by Bioptimizers. So whether you're a human or you're a tree, we know that your health is going to be in much better shape if you have balanced blood sugar. Your energy is going to be steady and stable throughout the day, you'll have good, clean cognitive function, and you'll be protecting yourself with robust health against unwanted diseases that could come about. But the problem is, a lot of people have out of balance blood sugar and fluctuations throughout the day, which means you're at increased risk for unwanted issues that can be the result of blood sugar imbalances. Your energy is going to be erratic and inconsistent, and your mind function won't be at its peak. But aside from having balanced eating and lifestyle practices, a beautiful boost to stable blood sugar that I love to get is through Blood Sugar Breakthrough. I simply take 2 capsules before a meal, which helps ensure I'll have steady energy, good, clear mental function and robust health throughout the day. We know we protect ourselves from so much of the unwanted stuff while boosting ourselves into the state of vitality that we truly want to feel when we have balanced blood sugar. And now it's easier than ever with Blood Sugar Breakthrough. The formula is all natural, which is very compatible with a healthy lifestyle. And getting healthier is also compatible with a healthy lifestyle. If you want to feel like crap, please ignore this product. But if you're like me and you want to feel and function your best, you can check out Blood Sugar Breakthrough at bloodsugarbreakthrough.health/JP20. And please use the discount code AWJP to get yourself a healthy deal.